right, we should be good. We got the Fathom recording. Who knows what SNS is?
Simple notification system.
Yep. It's service, system, service, same thing.
Right, service, yeah.
Yeah. Have you guys messed around with that at all or read into it at all? Maybe in your cloud practitioner study.
Yeah, there was a module on that, but it was quick, I think.
Okay. Yeah, there's not a whole lot to it. I think it's good because you have to think about it like broader term. Not everyone, like not 24/7, you're going to be having people monitoring like your EC2 instances or whatever is running on AWS. So you can set things up to where it just sends you a simple notification, whether that be text message, email, a notification on your AWS dashboard. You can also use it for sending out maybe broad emails when you have like a ton of people subscribe to you and you need to just send it out to the list. You can do things of that nature. Just a useful tool. I think it's smart that AWS put it in there because a lot of companies are needing that sort of service, so it kind of covers it. Have you guys looked into SQS at all? No? Okay, perfect. Well, the class is perfect. I've queried for it. Yeah, so SQS is simple queue service. We'll be going over that today as well. They kind of go hand in hand, very similar. And that's pretty much really about it. We can get started. Also, everyone sign into your AWS accounts. We'll get that started too. That way we can save some time. Everyone can be proactive. Perfect. Awesome. Okay. So everyone's here, right? Give me a thumbs up if you guys are on. I put the link in the chat also. All right, looks like we got everyone. Perfect. So Amazon, SNS, and SQS are AWS services that allow devs to decouple application components and build scalable distributed systems. They are powerful tools that help you manage how different parts of your application talk to each other. They can help make your system more robust and scalable. Let's dive into what each service does, their strengths and weaknesses, and what you might want to use them. SNS is a service that lets you send messages to a large number of subscribers quickly. Think of it as a broadcasting system. You send one message and it gets pushed out to all subscribers. Imagine you want to send real-time updates to your users like alerts or reminders. SNS makes it super easy to broadcast these messages instantly and reliably. Use cases include sending notifications, for example, alerting users about new content or system issues. Fan out pattern, sending a single messages to multiple services or endpoints. Event-driven applications, triggering actions in real time. All right, so now we can go ahead and set up SNS. I'll bring over my AWS dashboard. So I already favorited it, but if you just type in simple, it's going to be this one, notification service. We'll be right here. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to create a topic. And let's give a name. We'll do class demo. We're going to do standard. Display name, you can have it as class demo, or just make sure yours is different than mine. All these should be just fine. But say like we could have encryption or access policies, data protection basic or advanced, delivery policies, status logging, all those sorts of things. It's very granular because you can connect this to just about every different service. Then we'll create the topic. Once our topic is created, we have to subscribe to it. So we already have this pulled up. We can go down to create subscription. And our topic, you're going to choose your ARN. If you did it from that screen of your topic that you just created, it should have yours pulled up on it. So mine's obviously class demo, and it has like my resource number for it. Our protocol, we're going to do email. I'll go ahead and put my email on there. Just make sure no one don't blow up my email. But you guys can go ahead and do your email because you're going to have to subscribe to it. Where you'll get an email for it, you'll have to elect to be in the subscription, and we'll go from there. We don't need to do anything with this. We'll leave that blank. Same thing with this. We'll just do create subscription. Okay. Now we'll go here, back to our topics. Let me check my email real quick. So once you do that subscription, it's going to send you an email, and all you got to do is click the link and it subscribes you. And then once everyone's there, we can just give me a thumbs up. And once everyone has subscribed off of that email that AWS pushed out. Okay, perfect. So now that we have our subscriptions and our topics done, we're going to select, we'll come back to the topics dashboard here. And then you're going to select your topic and you're going to do publish message. We'll say, since this is an email, this is like your subject line. Testing class SNS, right? And then we're just going to leave the message structure the same. And then we can say this is a test or whatever you want to message yourself. And then you're going to do publish message. We get a class demo successful. And I just got an email, which I can pull up. right here. And you can do this. You can make another one if you would like to. Yeah, that's pretty much about it for SNS. Pretty simple stuff, especially when you're doing it the standard way. And then let me know when everyone has completed that. Also, how's everyone feeling? You guys need a break, or that wasn't too hard, or the minds are still here? If you guys need a break, feel free to.
This one's pretty easy, I think.
Okay, good stuff. Yeah, this isn't all that hard.
I understood this lesson.
Okay, awesome. It's a little confidence booster. You guys can all be cloud engineers. Okay. So the pros and cons. It's scalable, handles millions of messages daily, flexibly supports multiple delivery methods such as HTTP, email, SMS, etc. Ensures message delivery reliability through retries. It delivers messages almost instantly. See how quick you guys got your email as soon as you published the message? But that was, I think, as close to instant as you can get as far as pushing a notification service out. Cons, messages are not stored after delivery attempts are exhausted. Messages might not be retrieved in the order they were sent. I mean, that's just by the user, right? Less control over how messages are proceeded once sent. But yeah, simple. Another simple service, SQS. The Amazon Simple Queue Service is a fully managed message queuing service to aid you in decoupling and scaling serverless applications, distributed systems, and microservices. SQLs allows developers to differentiate their work instead of dealing with the complexity and overhead associated with managing and operating message-oriented middleware. Do you guys know like what another service would be?
Yeah, probably something like if you were going to use like a messaging service and you send a message and the user isn't there to receive it at that moment, then you need a queuing system to, okay, we'll try again when they log back on, and then it sends it.
Yeah, that's a good example. SQS ensures that messages between different parts of your application are not lost and can be processed independently. It's like having a reliable. By using SQS, you can send, store, and receive messages between software components without losing messages or requiring other services to be available. With just 3 simple commands, you can start using SQS right away using the AWS console, CLI, or SDK of your choice. So there are 2 types of queues, standard queue, which is default, and a FIFO queue, which is first in, first out. Remember when we were going through and we're deciding which type of topic we would do? That's when like the FIFO would come in. Use cases include asynchronous processing when tasks don't need an immediate response, load balancing, distributing work evenly across multiple servers, batch processing, collecting and processing messages in groups. I believe this is meaning setup SQS, but we can fix that error later. Alrighty. So we'll go ahead and do that now. So everyone get to your simple queue service. Remember, you can just type it in, pulls right up there. I have it starred, so it's on the taskbar. We're gonna click create queue. We'll do standard. We'll just call this class demo queue. Remember to keep track of this too when naming. The naming convention can throw some people off, but it's nothing. It's not as crazy as like S3. We have our configuration here, where we have like set the maximum message size, visibility to the consumers, message retention. I'm just gonna leave this standard. Encryption, we'll just disable that. There's no need. Or maybe, yeah, we'll leave that as disabled. Access policy, we'll leave this as just basic. But then again, like we could choose like based off of our IM users and their roles and that sort of thing. We'll just leave this as the queue owner. We'll keep it simple. Yeah, same thing there. We'll leave these all the same. We'll do create queue. And then we are going to send a message. So we're going to select our queue, send and receive message. We'll say this is a test for the students. All these should be fine. Send message. And then we can do this. We can pull for messages and boom, it pops up right here. And it can be seen. Not too difficult, right? So we do this, right? We can say we were just backed out. You would come in here and select your queue. See if we can just do it out here. No. We need to set that up. And then we can just send and receive messages and then do a poll, and it's still there.
So what does a poll exactly do?
It finds the messages that were received based off of that topic.
Okay.
Because we could have all been connected to this one topic and everybody pushed a different message, right? So then everyone else could have been, we could have all gotten our messages and then seen it. It'll become more practical, like once we're attaching these things to instances and say we have like a Lambda function that will trigger it, which we'll be going over that next week. But just learning like the basics of this, that's what's important for today. Okay, everyone get that down? I know that it's pretty simple stuff. Awesome. Pros and cons. Pros can scalably handle any number of messages, flexibly offer both standard and FIFO queues, store messages until they are processed, decouple sending and receiving components, and FIFO queues ensure order. Cons. There can be latency delays as messages are pulled from the queue. That's why we had to queue them up. Complexity requires additional logic for processing messages. Message storage has associated costs associated. Standard queue does not guarantee order. The benefits of overall of SNS and SQS are designed to allow for the following benefits: reduce administration or admin costs, messages are delivered reliably, data security keeps sensitive information safe, it is elastically scalable and very cost effective. As for when to use one over another, SNS is great for when you need to message to multiple recipients quickly, and SQS is better for when you need to make sure messages are processed reliably and can handle some delay. It may seem very simple now, knowing how to navigate these UIs to create the above. Keep in mind, though, that while this may be simple, complexity arrives when it comes time to integrate these into existing systems and applications, as you'll be utilizing approaches that may include Terraform, Lambdas, APIs, or something else altogether. And we'll be going over APIs a little bit today. We're not going to be able to dive in too much into the weeds with that, just because we haven't taught you guys the Lambda functions yet, but that's all right.
Monitor and secure APIs at any scale. API Gateway handles all the tasks involved in accepting and processing concurrent API calls. When setting up an API, users have the option of selecting between one and HTTP APIs, which is low latency and cost-effective REST APIs with built-in support for handling authentication and course permissions, 2 REST APIs, which allow for full control over a REST API, and 3 WebSocket API. An API type that establishes a persistent client-server connection. As a management tool, building out an API and API Gateway isn't actually building out the API itself, but the configuration to be associated with an existing API in your deployed application. You can also set up API configurations to manage APIs created via Lambdas, which will be covered briefly next week.
Awesome. All right, Michael, do you want to read over CloudFront?
Yeah, sure. Amazon CloudFront. Amazon CloudFront is a content delivery network CDN service designed to be performant and fast. It securely delivers data, videos, applications, and APIs to customers globally with low latency and high transfer speeds. CloudFront integrates with other AWS services to provide developers and businesses an easy way to accelerate content delivery. Setting up CloudFront is done by first creating a distribution. A single distribution can be used to manage content delivery for any number of applications. When connecting APIs managed through API Gateway to CloudFront, a user will create an origin access control configuration using API's invoke URL. Once a distribution's origin point is set to the API Gateway endpoint, additional configurations can be set to optimize performance. This can include caching content, limiting payloads, simplifying queries, reducing connectivity packet loss, setting rate limits, logging asynchronously, improve cache hit ratio, reduce origin load. Both API Gateway and CloudFront are advanced AWS offerings that are not required for the foundational AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner certification, but are required for various associate level certs. As such, we won't be covering these in too much detail. For now, just know what these offerings are used for, and keep them in mind as potential options to look into learning once you're working towards either the Certified Solutions Architect or Developer Associate certifications. And remember, you're amazing.
Good stuff. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and demo a little bit for you guys. Let's see here. So I'm gonna go from the Lambda. I'm just gonna delete this one real quick. It's just like creating the function. Can't have spaces. It's gonna be using Node.js. Oh, I probably should have used a blueprint for this. Yeah, that's okay. Then we can like say add our trigger. That should be an API gateway, like what we just were talking about. We can create an API gateway straight from here. We'll just give it open security. Add that in place. And then we can use this URL to trigger it. And boom, we have hello from Lambda. But say like we can set different, like multiple different triggers, that sort of thing, or where we could have it say we have the Lambda call out our SNS service, or it sends you an email. Something along those natures. Yeah, this is very, very basic. Yeah, the lambdas are, it's very broad. We're not going to dive into the weeds too much, but you can have lambda functions for just about anything. Okay. Alrighty. I'm gonna bring up your guys's